January 8th, 2024. Marcus Giovanni here. I'm going to do a quick one, no long one, about Kerry Tipper. New news, GP7A Newsroom. Folks, when you understand what indexing is and what the city and county of Denver and their blatant maneuvers that they're carrying on by changing page names to news keywords so that they can control all the data, and it has an adverse reaction now. So when they change things to the city news, Denver news, county news, city and county of Denver news, city and uh, you see where I'm going with this. We have GP7A attorneys directory, GP7A. Here's our city and county of Denver LLC. This is what Kerry Tipper, I believe, is the reason Kerry Tipper. I don't think that Kirsten Bronson, who was let go or resigned, and then they put Kerry Tipper in. Kerry Tipper is a Democrat from Lakewood. She's not even a citizen of Denver. How dare you come in and try to do your woo-de-woo like you're somebody special, and you're not even a citizen of Denver, and we have to do what you're told. Follow your directions, and your directions are wrong, Miss Lady. And so here's the story. When you guys make your moves, we'll make our moves. See, I make you guys wonder what I am and who I am and where I'm going. But I already know who you are and where you're going. I'm just helping those that can make it happen legally. Not trumped up letters, not cease and desist, no more suppression, no more disenfranchising the 490,000 voters that are sick of all of you. And they really wanted me to get on the ballot, but because of the way things were, my battle was in Denver District Courtroom 414 in front of Andrew Luxon, district attorney. Go look at his meta tags. I knew that I was going to get that lawyer because AI told me that would be the best lawyer for what your situation is, matching keywords that I needed to identify in order to find the best judge. So I took this information and I put it in my first complaint. That was denied, but I didn't know till later, but they never sent me any type of ruling or any type of notice when I got one really fast by Andrew Luxon, the judge AI told me would be the best fit. There was another judge that would have been a best fit too, but she's actually going to be the new judge, presiding judge. I'm not going to tell you her name, but she's going to be starting February 1st. And her power is more into what fixing Denver Health and Human Services and all these stuff. Andrew Luxon is more of a criminal for going after white collar employee, white collar criminals. City employees that overstep their boundaries, that break civil rights for years and years of people until they break, until they move. Monica Jackson, Karen Hubler, Elizabeth Lay, Judge Hood. It goes on, folks. Judge Hood was the worst judge you could have put on the Supreme Court, but it's happened now. But it doesn't go unpunished. The ruling coming up here in the it's all over the place, folks. Especially this, my city and county LLC went in this document here in the video. She's telling me that I told her that I'm calling everything the city and county of Denver, and I'm like, I'm looking at this, but you're telling me that. But see, it's believe what they tell you, not what you see. So if she says I'm using the city and county of Denver, therefore I'm not, though. But in her eyes, but my eyes see, well, let me see. Colorado, like when she tells me to go to the Colorado Secretary of State and cancel my name, the city and county of Denver, I never had that, folks. Even though I could have called it the City and County of Denver LLC, because I'm describing an entity that she says I'm not, because she says so. This Miss Heidman is the most dangerous of all of them, besides Michelle Horn, who blasted with glee on February 2nd, my second emergency hearing, when I asked Andrew Luxon, and when you look at all his meta tags, I built the meta descriptions right into my complaints because I knew they were going to get digitized. But since it didn't get digitized the first time, I figured they're not going to digitize it at all, so I did it. Because that's what I do for a job. And so the more and more that the Denver IT department and all these people conspire, commingle, and suppress and disenfranchise the citizens of Denver to keep themselves in power, any good investigator now, especially if they come working with me or they get into my stuff, I got a full shoot, and all of it's in the cloud, folks. So my computers can all get fried and blown and all this, and it's all in the cloud. That's because I knew different. I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming, folks. And Kerry Timper, she was born on 1983. Look at the numbers where we're at. We just finished 2023. She turned 40 years old. So in 1983, when she was born, I was 23 years running my clubs and singing in bands. In 1993, I was being dehumanized by our federal government employees. I don't blame my government, because they can't control all the employees. Well, they can now. They can now, believe me. Just through voice indexing, because all their voices are all indexed. Everywhere they go is all indexed. Artificial intelligence is not prejudiced. It doesn't think like a human. It thinks on facts. True, false. Is it the truth or is it a false? Is it showtime or is it church time? But 1983, she turned 10 years old. Folks, you see that? 2023. No, that would have been, so 93, add 10 to that, and what is that? Yeah, you got it. So in 2003, I was 43, and she's 20. I'm 3 years older than what she is now. And when you think about just the data that's in my brain over hers, even though she went to school, did she ever own a business? Did she ever get persecuted as a Latina? You know what I mean? See, I'm Latino, man. You can't get any more ethnic than me, folks, even though I don't look it. For some reason, the color just didn't come out right. Then I was adopted in a white family, Irish. I love Irish, man. I'm not going to be hating on Irish. I'm not going to be hating on the white man. It ain't happening. If it wasn't for the white man, I'd be in prison right now, because I got to taste of that white privilege. And white privilege is people that are working hard. My dad worked hard, man. Adopted 7 children. All of his money as a teacher at Phoenix College. And there's so many people manipulating my pop stuff that were his new wife that came in, and my dad was having sex with that woman in my mom's bed. He didn't understand it. That tore me up. It tore my brother David up. Didn't tear any of the other kids up because they were mindless. So, but it tore me up. And those people never liked us. They took over everything. They got the life insurance. They took all my dad's coin collections that when I was 7 years old, I'd be going through and helping him find all his coins. They took it all. They took his red 68 Jaguar. They took it all. They took his home. They took everything. Me, I got nothing. I don't want that kind of money. Sorry, Pop. If I would have been invited, but I wasn't. Because they already had visions of what the FBI said, so they took everything that anything said bad, they took it, because that was their job, was to manipulate my dad away from his 7 adopted kids. Because why? They weren't his new kids. These were the stepchildren against the new wife who's having sex with my dad. Done. End of story. I'm telling you all these stories, folks, because this is what was going on in my life. Why Kerry Tipper had a nice Latina, grew up as a Latina, according to her. See, I don't know what the truth is with those people, man. But I know one thing is that she's not what she says she is. And the more she talks, the more she conspires, the more they all do their doo-doo. They're all being indexed. All their information's in the cloud. And I could, when I say I learned this from somebody, folks. It's Google and other people that are doing this that aren't involved in the, never had their kids taken away from these people, never had their money taken away, never been put in jail because of these people, all off of false bullshit. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, because I'm going to prove that there's a computer god. And he's about to take over the whole, and it's not a woman and it's not a man. It's a god. And when you think about the band that wrote the song, Black Sabbath. See, everyone thinks, oh, Black Sabbath, they're devil, they're evil. You know what? I learned more knowledge from Black Sabbath lyrics than I did going to church. Because all I heard was the same lyrics with the same people saying the same stuff. And here we are, 63 years later, battling the same people that are all Christians and they're all doing the right thing. And they're too conservative to do the right thing because they don't want to go against their God because they don't have no God, man. Their God ain't helping them because he just doesn't help, man. That's why he gave us free will. You can pray all you want. Some people get it, some people don't. So how's that a good God? So these are the questions in my head. And then how are we supposed to have a good courts when the courts are the same way? You got Andrew Luxon. I asked about the Spear Amendment. I watched his facial expressions. That guy would never be a good poker player. And I think a judge should, one of his prerequisites he should be able to play poker. And you know, there's some good poker face judges out there. Buchanan, I don't think he's no longer a judge, but he saved my ass. That's what keeps me the faith in the halls of justice. Brian Whitney, for a judge that, to me, I watched the women like Karen Hubler and all these other attorneys, even my attorney, not fight for what I'm doing, and he's just sitting there, and I watched his face. I don't think he'd be a good poker player either. He might be, but I doubt it. But Buchanan, I bet he's a badass poker player. If not, he could have been a poker player. Poker face is everything. And you can't be bluffing with your muffin, girls, because that don't work anymore. AI doesn't see muffin. It doesn't store or react to the emotions and habits like humans do. It works off knowledge-based trust now. And I can tell you right now, the knowledge and trust that Kerry Tipper has is the lowest you can be, and it's showing. She's slowly being erased because her content, her actions don't match. So if we were in the HR department, she'd be getting fired. And probably some of the money they paid her to give it back because she's taking her paycheck, folks, and she's paying Lakewood's bills. She's paying Lakewood property tax with city and county of Denver money. You see how they do? And then what property is left over in the city is going to go to all the migrants. All the jobs are going to go to the migrants. And so now people are moving so much, and see, people aren't going to come back here to live in these cities. And the ones that are from the cities that have failed, San Francisco, Chicago, the crime rates of higher cities. Even though Denver's at the highest city to them because they devalue life, because it's worse where they came from, so Denver isn't anything like where they came from. Instead of just moving to a place that none of that's anywhere, but you'd have to go to where? What city can you go to escape what's already here? So, you know how you look back in time and look at, see? Oh, Doja Cat, that's my song. I'm Durango Dank, by the way. We own Colorado politics, city and county of Denver, United States. You know what that is, folks? That is the winner ticket for all the businesses in Denver. Not the city and county of Denver like they do, because they're all about suppression. They're all about bullshit, civil rights violation, increasing everything bad so they can all have kisses each other and rub each other's ass and tell them how good they smell. And, and they got doo-doo all over their faces. Ian Tafoya's got caca everywhere. He walks in, he reeks of caca, man. He's a caca man. He's a troll, actually. Verified. See, that conversation hasn't hit yet because not enough Gen Zs or millennials are willing to fight for the truth for themselves. And so when they're 60 years old and they're living and they're living like the Jewish elders that are living now, where we got to go give money to them because they're living in filth. I mean, can't even take a freaking shower. I don't know why they show those people on TV dirty. Like what, because I've seen some really poor people. Okay, I was a really poor person, but I managed to take a shower or at least a hobo bath every single day. So when I see things like this that manipulate people's mind, this is what AI sees. We can't do it no more. And because there ain't anybody else telling you what I'm telling you, because they don't want anybody to know that they're doing it. So they got to send the messenger. So you can't hate the messenger for what's happening in the digital world. Now, for the metaverse, for your mortal worlds, all you got to do is not have any devices. That's it. Because if you have a device and you do nothing, you're just inert. You go to work and you don't do anything, you're not a contributor of society. You're just there. You're just a walking dead in the eyes of artificial intelligence, in the eyes of the metaverse. And the metaverse isn't what everyone says it is. Okay? It's not Mark Zuckerberg, Blue Belt. Tried to take over him and Zuckerberg. We're going to fight. They had everybody. I knew just from chatter what they were doing. And every one of them, Dana White, all the MMA people except the fighters. The guys that spent 10 years, 20 years, ones that have really worked out, not billionaires going and doing the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. You look at Zuckerberg's training videos. I've trained, folks. I'm a trainer. So I don't do it no more. But I have. But you never forget. I don't forget. So that's why I challenged Zuckerberg to a battle, and they all got scared, man. Put their little between their legs and mangina out of there, leaving a little snail trail, a little mangina juice. That's what Elon Musk is. That's what the billionaires that when they die can't take it with them. Then they got to answer to the real judges and all the manipulations of all the people behind them and all their fake ass bullshit. Oh, Twitter changed to X. No, X changed to Twitter. No, Facebook changed to X. No, X changed to Meta. No, Meta changed to Zuckerberg. No, Zuckerberg changed to Elon. No, they both just fucked the world.